I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it. It's above me now, above me now, above me now, above me now. It's above me now, above me now, above me now, above me now. I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it. I was on the phone when you said it. It's above me now, above me now, above me now, above me now. It's above me now, above me now, above me now, above me now.
Yo, guys, welcome to the very first episode. Oh, man.
You sound like you have problems. Yo, guys.
Alright. 3, 2, 1. I am not good at
And you
this.
said I was nervous.
I am not good at this.
Hi, guys, and welcome to the first episode of It's Above Me Now.
Alright, do it again, one more time.
Why does it again?
Because, it happened too quickly within one another.
Jerome, you
between
can
my
do that
sentence
again.
to yours, do it again.
Hi, guys, and welcome to the first episode of It's Above Me Now
Yes.
with Jay and...
JXL. Baby.
You would have absolutely no idea how many times we tried to record this.
It was technically the first time we tried to record it, but the preparation to press record is completely different now. So yeah, like you said, this is the first episode. This has been, we spent the last 2 hours trying to come up with a name. So that was fun.
Not fun. We've decided in our first ever episode to take you back to the beginning, where it all began.
Yeah, if you care.
If anyone cares. I hope you care, because the story is hilarious. One of the most testing and trying times of my life.
Yes, we met each other, so I've known you, 5 years?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like 5 years.
Something like that, a very long time.
So we've known each other for a really long time. And we met each other when we started at
The devil's lair.
So I was fresh out of uni and you were fresh out of college, innit?
I was fresh out of college.
Yeah.
I was 18.
So I was fresh out of uni, I just finished. And this was my first ever job. So we met each other at a company. Should we say the name?
No.
But it's under now though, isn't it?
I don't know, but don't give him the satisfaction.
Alright, we'll call it Carpe Diem for now. I always remember that because that's what we wanted to call the company at first. Alright, so we started working at this company. We're calling it Carpe Diem for now. So I started like a month after you?
Yeah, I definitely started first.
Yeah, you started first. I remember seeing you in your red hair.
Trust me, I remember seeing you. I remember him too.
Yeah. So yeah, we started that. What was that 2013, innit? It was 2013.
Sounds like a long time ago now.
That was a very long time ago. Yes, 6 years. It was actually like 6 years ago. Anyways, so yeah, this company, I don't even know how to explain it, Junique. I actually have no idea how to explain this company. Alright, to make it make sense, we both, even though we started at different time, I think one of our first conversations we had when you weren't bullying me.
I knew he was going to make me out to be the bully. Listen, I was young.
So one of the first conversations we ever had was the fact that I remember you asking me, did you know what this job was before you accepted it? I'm okay, no, I think this is my third day.
Listen, let me explain. Okay, so this is how it happened. I was fresh out of college and I was sitting on my bed one day and I thought I need a job. Everyone I knew was out buying clothes, buying stuff, and I was sitting here. And I applied for this job. And the job was a marketing job. Yes. I think that's how they put it.
I think they posted as advertising for me.
Advertising, something like that. Well, the job description was great. And when when you apply for a job and you just your mind starts running about all the things you can buy and how much money you're going to make and the professionalism. You get to tell all your friends and family that you work in an office. Like, I was young and I was gassed and I was ready to go. Yeah. Anyway. I went for the interview now. And it's one of those ones I got the interview quick. Like, I applied. And I got 15, 20 minutes later, I got a phone call. And I should have known from then. Yeah. I should have known from then, but I didn't. I was naive. I was young. I went in for it. I went in for the interview. Mm-hmm. They're telling me I'm going to work for Sky. I'm I'm going to be working in the big offices and with all the big guys and doing all this stuff and working for the huge companies. And listen, from the moment they said Sky, I was in. I was signed up. My name was on the paperwork. I was there. I was working. So I came in first day. Obviously, I got the job on the spot, which warning sign number 2.
Yeah, they gave it to you like
you
right
get,
there.
You get it there.
Yeah,
Equally, they wasn't going to turn anyone down. You realise that now. Anyway, I come in on my first day and I remember it clearly, yeah? I'm wearing Dr. Martens.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody wears Dr. Martens or has worn, they're not comfortable. Mm-hmm. They are stiff, yeah? They are not walking shoes to be walking around in like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm wearing a bright red blazer. I'm wearing Dr. Martens, these tight jeans, nice little shirt, and I think I wore a tie. My style has always been...
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Back then, I wouldn't be surprised.
My style has always been different. Now, it's a bit better, but anyway, I was wearing a tie, a shirt, and I had this satchel bag that I used to be obsessed with back in the day, and you could wear it as a briefcase where you could strap on the strap and make it look a bit cool. Anyway, so I'm going out in my nice little outfit. I get to this office. I start meeting all the people. I meet my leader, this girl, her name was Sarah. She told me on the first day.
I love how you bait her.
She gotta know that she didn't think she was gonna like me because of my name. Which, it was a great welcome to the place.
Because you're black.
Yeah.
She had a black ass name. Was like, I'm not gonna like her. She's gonna be loud. She's from North London. This is what she told me. This was literally
the most completely judgmental thing I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, that was my first day. So we all go in. There are loads of people. The atmosphere is great. It's buzzing. Everyone's talking. Everyone's friendly. Well, apart from the girl that just told me she wasn't gonna like me, but everyone else was friendly. I go in. We have an extremely motivational talk meeting. Mm-hmm. They're saying, like, I come out of the meeting thinking I'm going to own a company within the next 2 months. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to go, meet the big bosses at Sky. I'm suited and booted and ready to go and start my career as this
the big bosses.
Big boss. So they say to me, all right, come on, everyone. Everyone's getting ready. Everyone's getting prepped up. They're like, we're going to the field. Me being me, the fresh out of college, 18-year-old girl. I'm thinking, all right, team building, great. We're going to go to the field. We're all going to chant and sing to each other and then get in the mood, come back after we're all prepped up. And, we're going to go meet the people at Sky because that's what they told me I was going to do. Uh-huh. I was wrong. And not only was I wrong, I couldn't have been more wrong. When they meant the field, we wasn't coming back. The office? Oh, no. We literally went out, me in my Dr. Martens, and it was freezing, and my blazer. And we got on a bus, and we went somewhere. I don't even know what area. Actually, I do know what area. Mm-hmm. We went to an area that was so close to my house, literally 5-10 minutes away. And I'm thinking, what are we doing here? At this point, I still didn't clock. I'm not going to lie to you. So we get there. And my leader, this girl, she starts knocking on doors. And at this point, I'm just confused. Mm-hmm. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
But she didn't explain.
No. And I think part of their thing is not to explain. So you don't run before you get off the bus in your area. She starts knocking on doors and then it hits me. Yeah. We are those people that your mum always closes the door. We are those people that knock at all hours of the day and try and sell you random things.
You know what, I'd actually prefer if that was actually what the job was. If we were them people that were there to sell you random things, I'd actually might prefer the job. Because that's not what we are, alright? What we are is the job was door-to-door charity sales.
Door-to-door sales.
Do you want, it's bad enough doing door-to-door, but if you're selling somebody something, at least they're getting something. We're selling people on, their humanity. We're knocking on doors, trying to shame people.
Pull on their heartstrings.
Into signing up for a charity.
Shame them for buying a coffee at Starbucks.
Exactly. This is just the cost of a £2 coffee.
What are you doing buying that coffee? Honestly, there are kids out here
Bruv,
that
job,
needs saving.
So yeah, so we had similar experience. Like for me, when I started, I remember going in for the interview, right? And because I remember I had a few interviews before, and like I said, I was like fresh out of uni. Like this is like 3 months of unemployment now. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm ready to get a job. So I turn up there for the interview, and I'm looking at the office, and the office is nice, innit? But I'm seeing bare people come in and out. But there's like only like really like 4 or 5 offices. I'm thinking, how's everybody meant to have a office? Like,
you're good that you noticed, because I just went in thinking I'm gonna own a company by the end
the
of
building
this.
isn't big enough for like the amount of people that work here, but I'm ignoring it. So I go in there, have like a great chat with a guy, Phil, and then he's like, oh, did you know that you're a great communicator? You're fantastic at communicating. I'm gassed. He comes back half an hour later, tells me I got the job, shakes my hand. I start in like 2 days. I go home, I tell my mom about it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be working in this business. Like they work with people like Sky. We have meetings, like all of this other stuff, and we have like an induction. I'm telling you, for the induction, for an hour and something, yeah, this man explains the job but doesn't actually tell you what you do in the job.
That's the whole part. That's the whole point. Tell them, but don't tell them. Sucker them into it.
All right. So I turn up on the first day. I meet my leader. Cool guy. I meet my leader, and he like first thing he does with me, he tells me, oh, what small term goals you want. I was like make some money, buy some new trainers. He's like long term goals. I'm like, I don't know, get a house. And he's like, yeah, these are all the things that you could achieve working there. I'm like, wow.
They do that.
Wow, I'm so gassed to start. And then we like a bunch of us, so we split up, we go in the field. I still have no idea what's happening. Like, we have the motivational thing. We go in the field, I still have no idea what's happening, but these lot are keeping us going with bands and stuff like that, what they've essentially been trained to do. We turn up to this road, yeah, and then these brothers are like taking bibs out of like a bag and putting it on. I think it was like a RSPCA bib or something like that. I'm thinking, and then my leader's like, alright, come on, let's go. And when this brother walked up to the door and knocked on it, I said, I can't believe this in my life. I literally just spent 3 years.
That first time when you realise what you've just got yourself into, you're just stunned. You're shocked. It's one of those things, honestly, you just get suckered into it.
Yeah, and then it's one of them ones, yeah, where like you're either done on the day or you keep going because you don't want people to chat shit. Like it's one of them ones, yeah, I waited so long for a job and my leader was cool. So I was just like, I'm gonna come back tomorrow, I guess. And like you, I wore like a full suit. I didn't even bring a jacket, but it was cold that day. I didn't bring a jacket.
That's the mistake.
And I think I was wearing was it like Michael Kors shoes or something like that? And they were tight. My toes I'm getting angry. I just remember that first day. Like it was nothing.
I don't think you could forget your first day.
No.
Now, we were there for a while and we saw a lot of people have a lot of first days, and the amount that stuck.
Yeah. I think there's like something like out of all the people that were there, like if you started like in a group of 7, you're probably the only person left in your group if you're still there. Like no one had ever that I know I'd ever like been with like more than one
You
person.
always start with a group of people.
Yeah.
And I know in my group I was the only one that stayed.
I remember in my group I was the only person that stayed as well. I remember a girl quit on the first day. Like halfway through the day. She went home. She said, no, it's not for me.
And equally, anyone listening to this, don't judge us for staying. You're going to be asking yourself the whole way through, why did you stay? Trust me, we ask ourselves.
We should give them tips on how to, like, at some point, how to tell if it's a real job or if it's like a charity job. Like, it's all in the messaging and how they post their job ads.
And honestly, we don't want to say there's some charity jobs which I'm sure are great, but this is nothing but a scam. It has to be a scam.
I don't know.
It must work for some people, but
I don't believe in this street charities.
I don't believe in it.
Anybody.
How? Yeah. Honestly, as well, when you first start, the main thing they hook you on is going to be your company. Whatever you're doing is for your company. Now, when I mean this is what they sell you on, I mean you have to sit in meetings and come up with a name for your company, a brand, everything. This is what they make you work towards because there's different steps to it. It's different steps. So you start off as one thing, then you become a leader, then you become this, then you become that, and everyone's working towards becoming an owner, and you get your own office and you get your own team. And realistically, that might work for some people, but
getting clapped at the end worked for me. Just 10 claps when you rang bell or something.
When you hit your target for the day and you go to that ceremony, they make you feel. Honestly, I can tell you why we both stayed. We definitely both stayed for just the experience because honestly, it gave me a lot of confidence. And the atmosphere in the office was the best. Meeting everyone, making friends, getting claps at the end of the day.
I think for me, one of the big reasons I stayed was like Prince, my leader. So he was a really cool person, and obviously I met other people too, like Rids. He went to my school, so I
like
remembered
me.
him. Yeah, I'll get to you in a minute. So like people like Rids, like we went to the same school, so I remembered him. So like all these people that I kind of bonded with quickly. So for me, it was like, all right, let me not leave. Let me just stick it out. I get to own my own company. So if I really work hard, I could own my own company. And I'm convinced they told you that so you can fight with your family when they tell you to leave.
The way you defend that place to your friends and family is ridiculous because you don't even believe it yourself.
Yeah.
But you'll find yourself going home and telling your mum, "No, mum.
I'm like, nah, I'm gonna own my own company.
Don't worry about the fact that I'm coming home and it's gone 12 and I'm tired and I haven't ate.
And I have to be back up.
But I'm gonna own my own company." And then you go to bed thinking, "Why did I say that? It's not true. I need to leave." But you go back, and not to mention me and Sarah, of course, crazy Sarah, who told me that she was going to like me on the first day, became great friends. Yeah. I think she got over the name thing. Yeah, we are. She's great.
Maybe it's because you had the same last name. She felt pressure. She felt like
maybe
she wants to be the only
or maybe
black
she
girl.
was just
She wants to be the only black girl. All the white men for her. She didn't want to share.
It's competition.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't need another Lawrence there.
I don't know, but she definitely warmed up to me. We became friends. Yeah. But all right, moving on. So we've already had our first date, and we briefed you on what it is.
Yeah. How did we meet?
How did we meet?
I know how I met you. I don't think you know how you met.
Now listen, guys. The story he's about to tell you, I'm not that person anymore. I'm lovely. I'm nice. I'm kind. He's still friends with me, so it means something. Yeah. But go on, take it away.
So, our first interaction, actually, I think it came through from Prince. So we were getting ready to go out in the field, and he must have asked me. He goes, "Oh, guess how old that girl is?" And pointed at you, and I go, and then you were just standing there.
Are you trying to say I look old?
You did look old.
Oh my goodness!
And you're just standing there with your red hair, like, guess how old I am? And I'm like,
He keeps referencing my red hair, and just to give everyone a visual.
I wish I still had that picture.
Cut off all my hair at one point, and I went completely bald. Not bald.
Not bald. You had like a quiff.
A quiff? You had a quiff. What do they call that in barbershop terms? What is that? Like a number?
That's like a 5 and up. You had bare hair though at the top.
At the top.
Yeah, at the top. It wasn't like a
short
high top.
back and sides.
Yeah, it wasn't a high
and
top.
And I dyed it bright red. It wasn't even a red. It was almost like a pink. Anyway, that's the visual. Continue with the story, of course.
And you had glasses.
I did.
Which I've never seen you wear glasses again. Like
honestly, I don't wear glasses. I've never been prescribed glasses. It was a fashion thing, yeah. But they were clear glass to give the impression. Listen, I was going to own my own company. Yeah. I had to look smart.
And I remember you're wearing a skirt, tights, and Uggs.
Oh my God.
And you had your bib on.
Wow.
Side of the building. So, yeah. So I remember, and he goes, how old is this girl? I go, I don't know, like 18. I only said 18 because I didn't want to be rude, because you really look like 23 or 24.
Not far off. We were going to say 30 something.
No, yeah. I was just like, oh yeah, she's 18. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm 18. I was like, okay, cool. I think this girl's old looking. All right. Keep it moving. And then what proceeded after that was just relentless bullying.
Do you know what, yeah? You say it was bullying, but really,
Yeah.
I think I was trying to warn you off the place. I didn't want to see another one of us stuck there. I was trying to get you out.
Imagine I enter this building, yeah, and the first thing I hear, not even from her, like just from in general, they're like, "Oh, we got a young Matt Black here." I'm thinking, who the fuck is Matt Black? And why you not calling? Bro, can you describe Matt Black, please? Because this was just rude. Like, it was actually rude. Like, proper, like, demoralizing.
I'm sure he wouldn't think
I'm sure
about himself.
Yeah.
He was just personality-wise, or what we're trying to say
like
here.
Looks.
He was very tall.
Yeah.
Very, what's the word to put it in nice terms?
Bro, Matt
portly.
Matt was.
He was portly.
Matt was. Yeah, he was.
He
portly.
was large.
He was round. Like,
Matt
was round and black and tall, and I was meant to be a smaller version of that.
Well, at least we weren't saying, similarities.
And then one time I remember I was sitting down, putting on my shoes so we can leave, and I was sitting next to Matt Black, and her leader was there giggling.
Well, my leader is stereotypical. We know how she is.
They were there giggling, yeah. And I'm thinking, why are these girls like laughing at me? It's because I'm sitting next to apparently my body double. Like, you man just bullied me for about a week.
Listen, that's nothing, yeah? We'll get to it later on in the story, but at one time, there was a conspiracy to get me fired.
There was a conspiracy to get her fired.
He was involved in the conspiracy. Don't let him tell you otherwise.
Listen, I went out for drinks, yeah.
Listen, but we will get into that story a whole nother time.
Yeah.
You don't want to give it all away in one go.
So yeah, I think that's how it's the first time we met. But I think the first time we spoke was when you asked me, "Yo, did you know what this job is about?" And I looked at you.
See, I tried to help.
And then you're like, "Me neither." I was like, "Ah, thank the Lord. At least somebody else doesn't." At least I thought I was the only. I thought like literally, I thought I must have been the dumbest person in the world because everybody just seems to be happy. Yeah, everybody seems happy.
It's a thing. It's like how it is there.
It's a culture.
They're all about
Culture.
It's all about positivity. So even if you're not positive, they drill it into you that you have to.
Out.
Yeah, you can't neg out. You have to be positive. You have to think positive at all times, even if that's not how you're feeling. You can't neg yourself out or neg others out. You have to be positive. When you get new people on, you have to be positive. You have to say positive things to them. Reassure them. Constantly talk about the company, the money they can make, the fact that they're going to become owners, the next steps. It's just, it's brainwashing.
Yeah.
Not even low key. I was going to say it's low key brainwashing. It's brainwashing that,
but in
the highest sense of the word.
Like, I always knew something wrong, but I didn't actually clock it was brainwashing until I went to my first leaders meeting. Because I think I wasn't like a leader for like a month.
But wait, obviously we got to explain how you become a leader. So to become a leader, so it works when you're first coming to the company. You're a first generation.
Yeah.
And so you start at the company, you make sales. Your target is hitting 2 sales a day. Now this sounds small. Hitting 2 sales a day sounds to everyone else that hasn't been suckered into the job yet manageable.
You think making 2 sales a day
is easy. Yeah. But when you hit that field and it's cold and it's raining and you've been out since what? 9, 10, 10.
Let's say 11. Let's say you've been there from 11.
You've been there from 11, but you've been in the office since 9.
Yeah.
Having these motivational meetings. Yeah. And you hit that field. What's it called? Your territory. They give you a map and streets you have to do. When you hit your territory and you knock them first few doors and it's just they're either shouting, they're slamming the door, they're asking you. One time someone said to me, she opened the door and I gave her my carefully rehearsed pitch.
Yeah.
That we've just learnt this morning, and I've gone in and I've said to her, listen,
your neighbours
what are you doing having a coffee a day? Yeah? There are people out here that need that £3. Yeah. And she just looked at me and said, what is someone like you doing this for? And I think I nearly cried. I'm quite strong, I don't cry easily, but I think I said to her, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One time I knocked and the woman said, you woke up my baby, I'm calling the police.
You get threatened with the police a lot, trust me.
It's just my job. Like, I didn't know your baby was asleep. It's just my job.
I think there are a lot of ways to sell charity.
Yeah.
a lot of different ways, but I just think the fact knocking on people's door is just not appreciated
Because you have
in
to think
any
about
way.
it. If you were yourself, like that's never going to work for
But
me.
equally, I think doing charity is something that majority of people are happy to do, but you don't want someone to come to your door and shame you into it. You want to look at it, tell you, figure out which charities you want to support. A lot of people have charities that they like to support because of certain things and certain experiences they've gone through. But me knocking on your door and hammer it into you, you need to do this now. You need to sign up with me and give me your bank details right now.
The thing with it, is that, like, obviously it's a good thing because it's charity, but it comes from a selfish place because you're actually taught how to make people sign up for charity, giving them like as quick information as possible so you can get in and out. Because I remember one of the things that Phil must have taught me was don't go in the house, right? He told me don't go in the house. If you go in the house, you sit down, they can ask you more questions, right? And then they can neg themselves out, and then they can decide to not sign up to the charity, right? Because they're not comfortable. He's like, stay by the door and get them to sign the form as quickly as possible so you can be in and out. Like, honestly, I didn't do this job because I love charity or it was the goodness of my heart. Like, no, I wanted to make my £20 sale. Like,
equally, we didn't start this job with charity in mind.
Yeah.
We thought that we was going to work for Sky.
Exactly.
That was what he was presenting us.
I don't know where, like, you can't just sell lies like that. Like, man said Sky, But
anyway, nevertheless, we done it.
Yeah.
And despite its challenges, there were some things, like, some charities that we really did enjoy doing. Like, there were certain charities. Now, me being someone that doesn't particularly like pets or have pets, pitching something like, what was it? The cat and dog home was difficult.
Cat and dog home? That was before my time.
The cats and dogs home. You don't remember?
That was before
no,
my time.
we always did that.
That's never my
with the blue bibs.
I remember VSO.
No, that was a great one.
Those are the only
RSPCA would be the same. Yeah, but obviously you get taught the way to pitch is like an open, a middle, and a close. And if they start to, neg themselves out, you've got to turn them around and all this stuff. But
you never dare to just accept their first no.
And as I mentioned earlier, one of the big things you were sold on is this company is your own. You're self-employed.
Yeah. You work for yourself.
You work for yourself. You do your own taxes.
Yeah.
You don't have a boss. You're your own boss.
You can actually, they tell you can do your own hours.
Yeah.
If you don't want to come in, you don't have to come in.
Yeah. But you try and come there any later than 9 and they're shouting at you.
You try not coming in. Try not coming in.
Try not coming in. Unheard of. Yeah. Unheard of. You would get, honestly, they would call you and shout at you. And you're sitting on the other end of that phone thinking, I thought this was my company. I thought I owned this. Right. I thought I could make my own hours. And the hours, you're out on the field until 8 o'clock p.m.
Oh, no, that's what time, yeah. But
no earlier than that. And you have to go back to the office. Because, obviously, private, confidential information, you have to drop there. So, I'm telling you, by the time you get home, it's
like 10:30, 11.
11. Well, I was gonna say I live far from the office, so it's like 11:30, 12. There was times where I'm telling you, my mum was worried. She was worried. The amount of times she tried to stage an intervention and tried to get me to leave. And I said to her, "Listen, Mum, I'm gonna own my own company one day. We're all gonna be good,
Yeah.
We're all gonna be taken care of because I'm gonna own my own company. And these times I go on the field and I'm ready to cry because I'm so cold."
Did you ever cry on the field?
Oh my gosh. Did I ever cry on the field?
Is that when you peed yourself?
I didn't pee myself. He will always tell this story that I peed myself. I have never. Let's make that clear. We went, was it a day trip or a road trip? Now, there were these things that we went on. A day trip was basically where you come in even earlier than 9. Even earlier. So you get there from the crack of dawn. As soon as the day breaks, as soon as the clouds part, you're there in the office. You go to an area, like a really, really far away area.
Yeah.
And you pitch longer hours. So instead of working from like 11 to 8, you go there from like 9 and you're working there till like 8, 9 o'clock and they sell this as, oh no, this is going to be great because you're going further out. Mm-hmm. You've got more time. Mm-hmm. People up there are not used to this kind of stuff. So you're going to get loads of sign-ups.
Yeah.
Untrue. Completely untrue. You've just wasted all this time. And not to mention, you're self-employed. So everything you're paying for.
Oh, yeah.
You're paying for travel. You're paying for lunch. You're paying every expense.
If it's a road trip, they take it out of your pay.
Which one was it, a road trip? So wait, so a day trip was a longer hours. You go and pitch in these faraway areas. Now a road trip. These were.
I never went on these. So.
I went on one. These were when they booked you hire cars and houses, like big mansion houses in the middle of nowhere, so you can pitch for a week. You know, do all the territory out there. This is maximum sign-ups. Yeah, they're telling you you're gonna come home with 10, 15, 20 sign-ups. You're gonna make loads of money. I remember I went on one. Unfortunately, I think. I went on my first one for about a week. I couldn't tell you where it was. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was near Derby. I remember that. We drove for hours and hours. And we get to this amazing house. Honestly, it was really nice. It was freezing cold. I did absolutely no sign-ups. No, I did about 5 in a week. Can I just say, sorry to interrupt, but I was terrible at sales. I was awful at. I just couldn't pick it up. I could never get the hang of it.
See, the thing with me, I wasn't that great, but I could be good.
You was definitely better than me.
I could have been like a lot better, but like I was just way. I just never liked the confrontation of people opening the doors.
Yeah.
I'd pretend to knock. I'd pretend to knock. Yeah.
Yeah, but no. So we go out. And we're out there for a week, and it's just miserable. It's cold. The hours are long. We're cooking our own food. Now, I can cook. I don't mind cooking. But you know them ones where everyone takes it in turns, and there's some dinners that just come out. You can't eat that. Do you know what I mean? There's some... Anyway, so we're out there. We're doing all of this. And I come back now from this week-long trip where I've made barely any money. And I sit there in that first meeting on the first day back, and they go to me, yeah, so the cars were this much, the house was this much, and it's coming out your wages. I remember looking at everyone in the room thinking, did you not know this? Honestly, could nobody tell me? Because that takes down what I've just made to about 10, 15 pounds. Honestly, I can't afford a travel card.
Yeah, I remember... I think the moment like we actually became like friends, I think you went on a road trip to Birmingham. I think was it Birmingham?
Yes, the worst experience of my life.
And I think I must have like just one day, because obviously you have to give each other's numbers when you work together, so you can text them and whatever have you. So I must have had her number, and she'd been gone like 2-3 days now. So I just dropped her a message like, "Hey, like how's it going? How's it going over there?"
I remember I called you.
And she called me. I've never spoken to her on the phone ever before at this point. And I've never spoken to such a heartbroken person in my life.
Honestly, I was fighting back tears. You know, like, we knew each other, but we wasn't friends at this point. And he messaged me, and I just needed to speak to somebody. Like, I was with some people, but I needed to speak to someone. I was crushed. I think that was the first time I ever cried. I think that was the first time I ever cried.
Yeah.
I remember the day equally they sent us to an office, and before they sent us to the office, they didn't tell us that office was actually having real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the past couple of months they didn't do any sales, so they were like, each office was doing like 5 sales a month, which was like dire, which was like almost on the brink of them closing down.
Yeah.
And they sent us there. And I don't know what temperatures it was. I couldn't even guess. But I remember that I went to one door and I went to knock on the door and my hands wouldn't bend.
This is bummed. Like, that's just
my
cold.
hands wouldn't bend.
The Midlands is cold.
And I just went to the end of the street and I cried. I called my mum. Yes. And I told her, I don't know where I am. This is what I said to her. I don't know where I am, but I'm cold and I want to come home. It was, and I remember that day, I went to, I ran away, and this was a.
Sound like a child.
No, I ran away, and I used to do this all the time. I used to run away and hide in restaurants, and I used to hide. You used to do it too.
Yeah.
We used to hide in different places, and then just pop back up at like lunchtime and pretend that we had been pitching all day, and we just,
No, we haven't made a sale yet.
Yeah.
But we'll get them.
Yeah. But I went to Subway and I sat in Subway for a good 2-3 hours. I had a hot chocolate. That's all I could afford. I had a hot chocolate. And I sat there, and the area it was in, there was no other shops. It was like a corner shop in the Subway. So I knew that we'd be coming back for lunch.
Yeah.
So I specifically went to the counter and I said to the woman behind the counter, listen, I'm going to come back here in 10 minutes with some other people. Do me a favour. Just don't mention that you've seen me. And I actually said this to her word for word. I said, don't mention you've seen me because I've been hiding.
Yeah.
So I go out, pop back up on the field. Hi, guys. Yeah. So, yeah, how about this pitching?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, so there's a Starbucks. Let's go. I'm not a Starbucks, a Subway. Let's go and sit in there and have lunch, have break. I got in there. Everyone's ordered their food now. I go to get myself another hot chocolate. And she goes, same again? I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to get caught. I thought they were going to shout at me. I don't know if anyone heard. I just said to her, what? And then I walked away and I said, that woman's crazy. I had to blame her equally. She just baited me out. I literally said to her, it couldn't have been 10 minutes before and she forgot.
Yeah. Maybe she just wanted to set you up. Maybe she just didn't like you. She's trying to set you up. Bro, that I just remember her calling me and crying. I didn't even know what to do on the phone. I was like, it's alright. I didn't even know what to say. I honestly had no idea what to say. I'd never been like, guys, I don't think you don't have to understand, yeah. We worked there. You must start like in October. I started in like November, like towards the end of November.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working there, yeah, where it is cold. Like it is cold.
I mean, snow,
like
rain.
Like, you know how rain. Like, you know, guys, this is how you keep track of so you have to knock on, yeah, roughly 150 to 140 doors, yeah, a day, right? Guys, remember, the goal is to hit 2 sales, 140 doors you're knocking on, right? So, and in order to keep a tally of these, so you don't like re-knock on same doors, you write down the doors on a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Do you know how hard it is to maintain that piece of paper
in the rain?
Raining?
And you have to bring it back at the end of the day.
Yeah, so they can see how much
you're
done.
sitting on the radiator trying it out.
In your business, you have to show them how many doors you've knocked on, right? So when it's raining, it's impossible to write on. When it's cold, it is impossible to get your hand out of your glove, right?
While holding an umbrella.
And this was like, imagine like your coldest day you've ever been in London and you're going to work, right? Just imagine that the coldest day and you can't wait to get into your office. But imagine having to stay out there till like 8 p.m. Like that's what we had to deal with every single day whilst knocking on people's doors who don't want to open because they don't want to come out in the cold. And people actively tell you, no, I'm not, I don't want to be in the cold. I was like, yeah, well, neither do I. So let me in. Let me in.
When you got those customers that were nice enough to let you in, I swear you were so grateful.
Yeah. I remember one time I knocked on an Imam's door and he goes to me, you can come in. I'm not going to sign up. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm coming in. Yeah. So I'm coming in. He spent the whole day trying to convert me to Islam. I listened because I was there for an hour and I was warm.
You honestly, you would go anywhere. Because you got to understand, you're just dumped in any area. And I mean dumped in any area. And there are certain areas where there's nothing. There's no restaurants. There's literally a corner shop. So you're stuck
outside.
Stuck. You got yourself a Ribena and a packet of biscuits and you're sitting outside on anything. You know that thing, that silver thing that carries the newspapers? You're trying to sit there and just take a break. And you're outside and you're cold and everyone's like, yeah, come on, let's get positive. I'm not positive. Yeah. It's difficult. I'm freezing. I'm hungry. My mum is worried.
I'm depressed. I'm broke. Like,
oh my God.
Like every day I check my account to see if I can actually afford to make it to work.
It was touch and go.
Yeah.
The times where you had to decide to eat lunch or to travel into the office.
Like, can I even afford food or can I just afford to go to work? Like, there was one, I think it must have been like 2-3 weeks where I'm convinced every day I made no sales. Yeah. I was making no money for about 2 weeks. For like 2 weeks, I was making no money.
To be fair, you're lucky it was only 2 weeks, yeah? For me, that was a continual thing. If I made a sale, it was a miracle.
You know, that's so disheartening to think that you've left your house, to get somewhere for like 8 a.m. to 9
And you've
a.m.
worked more hours than a 9 to
than
5.
a normal person. And you don't get home till like 11, 12 o'clock. But you have made zero money that whole day. Like, zero money. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it.
You can't even take a day off.
Like, you can't.
Because it's not really your company.
It's not. It's not at all. Like,
I think they just say that for tax purposes.
Yeah, they have to. And they don't... The thing is, in order for companies like that to survive, they can't pay you a wage. They can't pay you a wage. And they don't make enough to pay you a wage.
One day in particular, this is a story where he likes to say that I wet myself, but I couldn't even tell you the area I was in, but it was like a countryside, long winding road, the type of roads where they don't have street lamps.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to wildlife at all. So I go down this road, and I go down with another guy that I was working there with. And we go down, and it was long, and we get to this, we pitch all the doors on the way, and it wasn't dark, but it was bright enough. So you can see there's like a field on one side, but it's not closed off. I guess that's how they live in the countryside.
Yeah.
But there's cows, and they're loud, and I'm nervous, I'm scared, but we're together, it's fine. I'm getting through it. I pitch my doors. We get to the end of the street. Now, we've been walking for about half an hour. We get to the end of the street, and there's like this cul-de-sac bit. So you go in, and we're pitching all the doors. And I remember I had one door left, and I knew I wasn't going to be long because I don't really pitch like that. I just speed it up so they say, no, I can cross it off a list and go home. And I say to him, wait for me, because I know myself. I know I'm not going to be able to walk back down, and I need to go to the toilet. And if one of these cows moo and I get scared, no one's going to want me in the car on the journey back, yeah? So I say to him, wait for me. Just wait here at the end of the street. I do the door. It takes me about 10, 15 seconds. I turn around and he's gone. I'm thinking he couldn't have got far. No, he's gone. I don't know if he ran. He was gone. And I honestly stand there contemplating life for about a good 10 minutes. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to call him, but I think he went back to the door. He knew someone was going to sign up, so he's not picking up. And I'm just thinking, I don't know what to do. Like, there's cows everywhere, and I need to go to the bathroom. So I thought, come on, put your big girl pants on. Let's go. Like, I need to get back to the car.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm walking now, step by step. I couldn't walk any faster. My knees wouldn't allow me. The cows are mooing. They're coming closer. I'm trying to run, but I need to go to the bathroom. It's a disaster. I'm like so close to crying. I sound like I cry a lot, but I don't, honestly. It was just this period of time. I'm so close to crying, and I'm running, and there's cows, and I'm about to pee, like, desperately. If I don't go now, I'm going to wet myself. So I finally work up the courage and knock on the door. And round there, I don't know if they're not used to seeing black people, but they're not too inclined to open the door quickly. And I'm about to wet myself. And I don't want to pee in their bush for they call the police or something. Anyway, so I knock on this door and I'm begging. I'm saying, listen, lady, you don't understand. I need to go to the bathroom. She's like, no. I'm like, no, please. I'm tugging on her heartstrings. I'm like, I work for charity. I really need to go. I've been out here all day. So she finally lets me in. I just made it to the bathroom and I got out. But the rest of the journey wasn't any better. It literally took me, I would say, double the time to walk back because I was just so terrified. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if sudden movement makes them come towards me. I would have died.
It was just cows.
I've never seen a cow. Around here, they don't have cows. You gotta go to the supermarket for that stuff.
Yeah, nah, that was... I'm convinced she peed herself. She keeps trying to tell you like she went into some lady's house. I don't believe it.
I couldn't make up the whole story. I begged for my life. I honestly did. But when I came back, I gave him an earful. I was furious. How could you leave me? Anything could have happened to me.
Listen, you have to pitch and make yourselves, man. You have to make yourselves. Do. Like that, listen, it's just the law of the jungle out there, man. You gotta make yourselves, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like that's just the environment of the place. Like, that's how this is a time in our life like we'll always have stories.
With the amount of stories.
We'll always have stories forever. Like, wait, you know you said Sarah was your leader. Wasn't Thingy your leader?
Oh, yeah.
Sarah wasn't your leader.
Now, wow. Well, that was a controversial story. Okay, so to
This is how we
revisit
plotted.
the first part of the story, Sarah, Miss Judgmental, who is now my great friend, let me add that, just in case she listens to this, was not my leader. She was my leader's leader. Now, there's stages to this, as I said. So you become a first gen, then a leader, and then what's that thing where you run the
I can't remember.
like you run the sector. That's it. You become the sector of the leader, whatever, anything. So that means like you're in charge of the people. You take a group of people out and you distribute the roles and you tell them what to do. And then you become something else, and then you become an owner. So I just made it to leader stage. Actually, no, I made it to the leader of the sector, but that means nothing, honestly. So I had another leader when I started, but I don't even know what happened, honestly.
This is when we were plotting to kick you lot out.
I don't even know what happened.
But imagine, like, we've just had a long day. It was like a Friday, something like that, like a Friday or something like that. And there must have been like tension in the office between your leader, Sarah, and like the other leaders, right? I don't know.
To make it clear, it was nothing to do with me. I was collateral damage.
Yeah, essentially. So we're having drinks, and I'm like, but it's been long. I can't wait to get a drink. I can't afford a drink. So one of my leaders gets me a drink, right? So I'm there drinking, and then I hear, all right, guys, listen, nobody wants to do this, but we need to find a way to kick Junique and Sarah out of business. I just turned around.
Can you believe it?
What? She's like, obviously, like, everyone likes Junique, but like, she's collateral damage because she's with Sarah. I'm just there like, wow.
My own leader, the original one, has disowned me.
Oh yeah, her leader was there in the meeting. Her actual leader was there in the meeting to kick her out. The other one out of the group. I'm just like, okay.
Equally, can I just say, my lovely friend didn't stick up for me. He was involved in the plan.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It's none of my business.
None of his business. He was trying to get me fired.
It was none of my business. I was just listening. I was laughing. I was drinking my drink. It's above me now, to be honest with you.
It is. It is above us now.
Yeah. So that was amazing. Like, this whole company was amazing.
For a different way. I will say that the experiences it gives you, the stories that
Junique
you will have.
you were in the... Oh, that's the name. I remember that. I'll delete that. You were in the love triangle. That was amazing.
Oh,
like it was like a sitcom.
Why are all these stories about me? Where are your stories?
Because I mind my business.
He was just
I mind my business.
Yes, I was involved in a love triangle. I feel like we should insert some dramatic music here.
Yeah.
I was involved in a love triangle. Yeah. One that I didn't want to be in, might I add. To be honest, halfway through, I didn't even know I was in it.
Oh, yeah.
We won't mention no names here.
You know what I thought was funny, yeah? Because I remember one of my first days with my leader, your kind of leader, we were all pitching together, and then it was just me and my leader. And I remember he kept trying to tell me, "Oh yeah, you like her, innit?" Referring to you, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, I've literally just met her." Like, yeah, no, I think you like her. You should make a move. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but like, I've literally just met her. Like, I don't know anything about her. And then he's like, yeah, no, I think you like her. I'm just thinking, all right. And I'm walking home, I'm like, I bet you he likes her. And I know he has a girl, so he's just trying to shift like some
I feel like everybody knew but me.
Yeah.
This is what happened. So there was this guy. He was cool. Now, when I mean he was cool, I did not like him in the slightest. We couldn't have been any different if we tried. But he was cool, you know, we were friends. We spoke on the field. He was like real, whereas everyone had this fake sort of phony, positivity that they try and drill into, and you just know that that's not genuine. He was actually genuine. He was nice. And me, I'm always genuine. I'm always real. So if I'm not feeling it, I'm just gonna say I'm not feeling this. So we hit it off. We became friends, just friends. This is what I thought anyway. He was really nice. I was really nice to him. Like, we used to talk in the field. Anyway, it turned into the biggest scandal of what year was it? 2013.
14 at this point.
14 at this point.
It was still 13.
No, it was 14. Shall I tell you why? Because he asked me to come to my house for Christmas. Yeah. He was like on his way to church with his girlfriend or something like that, and he said to me, "Oh, like I'm gonna come around." I don't know why, but he just asked me, and I thought, all right, like I'm not. you know, I like friends. He can come around if he wants. It wasn't just me there. Like, me and my family was there. We were just talking. We was chilling. Anyway, so he goes back to work now, and I find out that this was like a huge deal. To be fair, I probably should have known. I probably should have known. It was a huge deal. He had a huge falling out with his girlfriend, you know, because he was at another girl's house for Christmas. It was like Christmas Eve.
Didn't he
or
buy you
something.
both the same gift or something?
Did he buy me a gift? He might have bought me a
He bought you a
gift. This
gift.
just sounds bad. Saying it out loud sounds bad, I
You have to
must say.
understand. I remember he told me and Rids the story of going to yours for Christmas, right? So he goes, oh yeah. So he goes, I went to Janique's house and met her mom. Me and Rids are looking at each other like, what? Like that's so strange, right?
Yeah.
But we don't pay attention. Like Prince, that's Prince, and so we don't think
He
anything of it.
asked. And he was like, churchy. So, you know, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like, I don't know. Maybe
So
it's
we didn't think. We just looked at each other like, all right. And he's like, oh yeah. And I told Pearl, she wasn't happy, and she wasn't happy that I gave them both the same gift. Me, what I tell you, I looked at Meridian and like, am I hearing this correctly? Yeah? Did he just tell me he went to another girl's house on Christmas Eve, right? Bought them both the same gift, and then told his girl about this, and now he's surprised that she's angry. We looked at him like, hey, first you went, all right, whatever, innit? Like if you want to cheat innit? Like, no one's,
Don't say it like that.
like no one's bothering, innit? Cheat away. Bro.
No.
Why would you tell your girl
Strictly platonic.
and then expect her to not lose her shit when she finds all of this out? This is why Janique got beat up in the toilets.
Oh my gosh.
This is why she got beat up in the toilet.
Listen, I have never been beat up in my life. Yeah. Obviously, that transpired. So, from that day on, she just began to hate me. Understandably. You know, I wasn't mad at it. I don't know them. I'm happy to not talk to him. Do you know what I mean? We weren't besties. We were just really cool friends. Do you know what I mean? We became closer throughout the experience, the job. So, a few things transpired. I'm guessing she started to hate me from that day. And it got to... So, we carried on being friends, but obviously he was never allowed back at my house. I don't want him to get killed because of me. So, we have this thing, and it's like a Christmas. I don't know if it's like every 6 months or just at Christmas. We have this thing, this big ceremony where all these people, all these different companies get together, and they win awards for like most sales done or most positive this or best company. So we go to that, and it's like a big day event that everyone's dressed up for. My outfit was terrible. Let me just say this now. It was terrible.
I looked adorable. I looked so adorable.
If he does say so himself, he looks alright.
She
No, I'm joking. He had a little tuck.
Well,
I did say that. So I was wearing this big glittery disco thing. I remember I wasn't going to go, and I got it really last minute, and it was just horrible. I told my mum to go out and buy me some shoes.
At the time, I didn't think it was that bad. I'm not gonna lie. At the time, I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh, there you go. That's positive. That's nice. He didn't tell me, but that's nice. Anyway, so, and as soon as we got on the coach, it's just tension. Like, it's just, not only does this girl hate me, he can't speak to me, of course, equally. I didn't want to speak to him. I don't know why you've got this bitch hating me. Like, I don't even know you lot like that. He's got his other friend's girlfriend hating me, and it's just like awkward. Like, obviously I'm still talking to everyone else, but it's awkward. It's just uncomfortable.
And I'm in the middle, all of this, just enjoying.
Enjoying. He's not in the middle as anyone was talking to him or directing any of this to him. He's just there like a gossip queen.
I'm just watching everything.
I'm watching all the drama unfold. She's like giving me the evil eye every single time. She's like the other girl as well, and it was just not a nice experience. Equally, it wasn't that bad. I didn't really pay in my mind, but it was just awkward. We couldn't eat together as a group. We couldn't chill together for the day. It was just very much us, me and my leader, separated from everyone else. It was just an awkward day. So they get to one point in the day where we're all having lunch, and of course me and my leader on a separate table, we're just chilling because she knows that this is just I don't like this boy. It's like impossible. I could never like him. So we're sitting there, we're eating lunch, and Jerome's on the other table with them, my haters. Imagine he sits with them and has lunch, and then we get up and go to the bathroom. And I don't know if it was at the same time or around the same time, but the girlfriend and her friend, also get up and go to the bathroom. I didn't know this. I didn't see them in the bathroom. I didn't see them anywhere in the vicinity. But a couple months later, I remember we're talking about that day, and Jerome says to me, "Oh yeah, because you got beat up in the bathroom." And I said, "What?" Hold the phone. What are you talking about? He was like, "That day you got beat up in the bathroom," and I'm like, I'm thinking she came out and said this. Or, she started this wild rumor and everyone's sitting there for the day thinking I got beat up in the bathroom. Like, I didn't even see her there. So he starts telling me that, obviously, he's seen us both get up at the same time and he's just assumed for these past couple months that I got beat up.
Nah, you did, yeah.
Why could I not be the one that won the fight?
Because she went in last and she came out first, yeah. So then I'm like, ooh, like the loser doesn't come out first, like, fine. And then when you two came out, you two just looked so upset, and I must have got, they must have got the shit slapped out of them, right? So from that point on, you lot came out last. I'm like, there's no way you all went into that toilet and like just like peacefully peed and leave.
Didn't go into the toilet.
Listen. They came back first, then you lot came back. You lot looked like scattered. Like your brain was like, I'm just like, nah, they got slapped up. And I told Rizzy, yeah, they got slapped
Equally,
up.
and now you're spreading rumors about me.
I'm just saying, you got slapped up in the toilet.
And you told someone.
They got slapped
this is what I have to do.
Like, it was just such an awkward day.
It was an awkward day. One of the most awkward days.
No, it's the second. Wait. And then we had the text messages.
Not the text message.
This was guys, I want to tell you, this was a mad love triangle. This was a love triangle.
This was a triangle that I wasn't even involved in. I was forced into a triangle.
One day we're going to pitch. At this point, he'd left.
At this point in the company, he'd left.
Yeah.
I think she'd forced him to leave because of
the
triangle.
He couldn't come back.
And it got to a point where me, Jerome, and our other friends, we formed a square. Was it a little gang? A little gang that we had.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was just happy to be included because a couple months ago, I was being schemed against. I was just happy. I was in the square. We had a group chat.
Yeah.
We all finally admitted that we hated it, and we all negged each other out in this group chat, and we bonded by just making each other feel miserable about it. And so at this point, the square.
They were plotting to split us up because we were so negative.
Then there was a plot to split. There's always a plot in that place. Yeah. Anyway, so at this point, we just became our own people. Started becoming our own bosses, as was almost promised.
Because one of us was territory leader, so we can pick.
Coming in late, missing whole mornings, meeting up and having breakfast, going to the pub halfway through pitching.
Yeah.
Like we just gave up.
Next.
Yeah, the ultimate negs. We used to pretend to go in the morning, meet right on the field, sit in the pub for hours, and then pretend that we was working the whole day. But no, it got to a day where one of these days was at home till about 12, I would say, just sitting there, and I get a text. Now, I'll let Jerome continue the story because I feel like it'd be way more entertaining if he told it.
I'm trying to think how the story was. So I remember she got a text. I can't tell you what the text said, but the text was from the guy. I don't know if I said his name. I'm gonna call him King.
You did.
I'm gonna call him King.
I said, let's not name no names, and I've heard him drop the names a few times. But go on.
We'll call him King just because I can't remember. I'll probably say that. So he gets a text message from King, right? Now King, I don't know what he says in this text message, yeah. But this text message was funny, right?
It was weird. From the jump, it was weird.
So she shows me the text message. I'm thinking, that's a funny message. Think nothing of it. So we go to pitch. We're on the bus now. And more text messages are coming through. And these are they're suggestive messages
like the typical girlfriend trying to catch a boyfriend out. Like, when was the last time we met up? For some reason, I completely forgotten when the last time we spoke was. Like, obvious stuff.
And then one of them, I swear, one of them was something about, liking you or something like that. And I go, this isn't Prince.
Like, have I ever told you I like you or something?
I go, this isn't Prince. I'm like, this message is not Prince. Oh, I just said his name. I just called him King a minute ago.
The likelihood of him ever reading this or listening to this.
Yeah. Pastor May, please leave us.
God. Anyway, carry on.
So I'm like, stop entertaining this. This is clearly not him.
He said, okay, now he's telling the story years later and stop entertaining this. Who do you think was replying? It was him. He was having a right good giggle, yeah?
So we go about the day, we're pitching, and then, am I remembering this right? Did he email you? Like, I feel like someone emailed you, or am I thinking of a different story?
No, you're right. But did it happen like, he said to me, email me this chat, because like on my phone I don't always close my chat, so I've got them for longer, and other people like delete obviously as well. If he's talking to me, he doesn't want his girlfriend to know. Equally, I don't even think we spoke. He was like, email me this chat, and equally from the jump of the conversation we all knew that this is her, or we thought it was her.
I now think it was him. I think it was like both of them.
No, because at one point it got really weird. Obviously, email me the chat is just strange.
Yeah.
But at one point, I think she actually admitted and go, yeah, it's me.
Yeah, it's me. She goes, yeah, it's me. It's Pearl. Right? And then I go...
He doesn't get this whole don't drop the name thing. Go on.
It's me, Diamond. And I go, all right, this is now like funny. Now I don't believe it's Diamond. Right? Now I believe it's King pretending to be Diamond, pretending to be King. Right?
It got all sorts of messed up.
Like, and I remember just thinking, like, this love triangle is the funniest shit, and like, I'm so glad I'm just witnessing it from the outside.
Witnessing?
Yeah.
The biggest shit stirrer of the century. Spreading rumours I've got beat up.
You did get beat up.
I didn't get beat up. I didn't even see her in the bathroom. The place was so big. How does he even know we both went to the bathroom?
You went in the same direction.
Oh.
The same direction.
Wow. Way to spread rumours.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was your love triangle. And then, pretty much, a shot after that, we pretty much left.
We left. Of course, if you want to hear more of this, let us know. Because we have stories for days. But pretty much after that, it was a few months after that, we left. In the most dramatic fashion, I think we should finish this podcast with the story of how we left.
And how I was forging signatures.
The story of his fraud and how we left.
So, like, at this one is like Feb, yeah? It's like the beginning of Feb. And I've been there since November. And I'm broke. I'm starving. Like, I'm literally hungry every day. These lot are stealing from Sainsbury's because they have no money. Like,
come on.
It was just... I was honestly at my breaking point.
Who hasn't stolen from Sainsbury's?
Yeah. And I was honestly at my breaking point, right? So I'm still sticking it out there because at this point, like, I'm with one of my really good friends at the time, obviously. I'm one of my really good friends. And he really had this ambition to build his business and have me as his second-hand man. This isn't me. Like, this career thing is not for me, but I'm going along with it. And then I remember at one point, I get called into the office by the manager, and he tells me, he's like, oh, you've been filling out forms recently, and they don't have any, like, bank details.
Wait, to clarify the story, they started this thing about a couple months before we left, like, bank verification.
Yeah.
Because, of course, we was getting the forms filled out, but a lot of people put in incorrect bank details just to get us out of their house, away from the door. So what we had to do then, to make it more awkward, was to get the bank details, then call a number, give them the bank details, and they would tell us on the spot if the bank details were real or not. But
who can be asked for that?
It's not only that. So you want me to go into someone's house and tell them, no, your bank details are wrong. So what do you think they're going to do?
Like, so he
what
goes...
an awkward confrontation.
He calls me in and he goes, hey, you haven't been calling the bank verification to confirm that these are the real bank details, and the bank details are coming back incorrect. And I go, yeah, like, I'm just like, yeah, like, I can't be bothered to do that. Like, that's so long. And then he goes, it's because you've been making up these forms. I go, huh? He's like, yeah, you've been making up these forms because you want to hear your name be rang down at the end of the ceremony and get claps and all of this other stuff and hear that cowbell, whatever that shit was when you got like the triple cell or whatever.
Honestly, I thought Jerome was gonna punch him. I didn't even know at the time. He told me like a couple hours after, and he was still so mad.
I literally sat there. I was like, so you think, yeah, I get up at 7 a.m. every day, right? It takes me like an hour to get here, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm here, like, either from this office or our territory, and I don't get home until like 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and I have half an hour to myself to eat food and watch like small TV.
Plus the time that your mum's gonna lecture you about why you
Exactly.
still work there.
To come back the next day, and I'm doing all of this to make up forms for money I'm not gonna get, just so you lot can clap my name at the end of the day. I go, are you fucking serious? Like, oh my days. And I leave the office and I'm fuming. I'm now fuming. And I told Junique this and I'm just angry. And then a few days later go by and I'm still angry about this whole situation. A few days later go by and now this is when we're deep into the square. We're like 4 hours late to go to go pitch. And then we're chilling. We bump into some other girl, like, this is a different story. I'm not gonna ruin her reputation. So this is a long day. So it gets to like 1 o'clock, and we're like deep into. I know the area as well because I've been there before. It's like near where my friend lives. So we're deep into this area, and it's like 3 roads, and the roads are just in circle.
Yeah.
So it's like a quick territory, right? So on the 3rd road now.
And I think not to mention we had to work Saturdays.
Yeah, we had to work Saturdays.
So
it was optional.
It wasn't optional.
Yeah.
We were working 6 days a week.
6 days. Sunday's the only day you have.
From 9 until about 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Like, this is serious hours.
For no money. So it get to like the last road. And I'm walking to one road and my phone slips out of my pocket and just goes to the ground. The screen cracks. And look here, I just turned to everyone, guys, I'm quitting today.
The moment you break your phone and you realise you cannot afford...
Actually, I told that story wrong.
Yeah.
No. I told us...
Because it was my phone.
New position, yeah. Janique's phone. Oh, my God. Why do I keep saying people's name wrong? Your phone, right, falls and it breaks, right? And she goes, I can't afford to get this phone fixed.
I was fuming. My phone smashed. And I just looked at it and I thought...
And I looked at her and I said...
It's going to take me years to make the money here to fix this phone.
I said to her, listen, I'm quitting. Because that morning, I didn't know how to tell the girls this, yeah. I didn't know how to tell them this. But that morning, I woke up and I said, today's my last day here. And I don't know when I'm going to tell them, but I'm going to have to tell them. But today is my last day at this company. And as soon as her phone breaks, I go, yeah, guys, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm done with this company.
I was with him. I was like, this is it.
And then these are like, yeah, we're done too. And then our other friend, she was like, yeah, let's go. And then these are like, let's go to the office and let's write a leaving letter.
No.
I'm thinking, what?
We thought of about 10 different ways of how to quit because it's not just as simple as quitting.
Yeah.
Even if you own the company,
yeah.
They're gonna, their whole motto of, let's try and turn your negatives into a positive. Like, it's not just it's like you don't just escape the cult. Do you know what I mean? You don't just get out. So we're like, okay, like, let's not make this awkward because I don't want to have to text them and tell them I'm leaving or call them and listen to them say all this stuff. Let's write a letter. I don't know where the idea came from. I'm like, let's go in, let's write letters of resignation, let's leave it on the desk and let's just bounce. We'll block everyone and go. What a stupid idea. I don't even know. We go into the office, we write the letters. I don't know how, but some sixth sense, Jerome's leader calls.
Yeah.
And he's just the sound in his voice.
He's so positive.
For some reason, he doesn't know we're quitting.
Yeah.
But he's like, so, like, I really have good feelings about this. Like, we're going to be owners soon. We can do this. We can do... And the look into Jerome's face.
I'm just on the phone like, yeah, man, of course.
Knowing that he's signing his letter right now to quit was just... Anyway, long story short, we ended up leaving the letters. Yeah. Didn't work because we got called in for meetings. I actually got fired that day. Not fired. I'd already quit.
That's my
but
favorite.
He actually told me, I think you should leave.
This is my favorite part. So, when we wrote the letters, the people from the other offices were trying to convince us not to leave. And then these two stayed around listening to their pitch for how not to leave. Fine. Right. Then a few days later, we didn't leave the letters. We sent text messages. After we wrote the letters, we didn't actually leave them. So we sent text messages.
We took them back.
Yeah, we took them back. So we sent text messages saying, we just need some time, right? And then we just need some time off. And then obviously he clocks. All three of us are both telling him at the same time we need time off here. And then a few days later, he's like, he tries to call us.
Yeah.
We call our other friend, yeah. We're like, yo, where are you? She's like, I'm on the field, I'm pitching. We're like, oh my days.
She got suckered back into it. It was less than 24 hours. And she was back.
All right. So then he calls me and Junique in for a meeting. And then I go first here. And he's like, oh, what are the ways? How can I keep you at the company? How can I keep you at the company? He's like, I know you're always around them three, and you know when like you're around somebody and then they feel a certain way and you feel a certain way. Like he's like, to keep it 100 with you, Janique's not coming back.
He made a decision. He was gonna fire me. Like I didn't already quit.
No, Janique's sitting in the waiting room. And he's like, she's not gonna come back. And I go to him, listen, personally, I'm gonna keep 100 with you. I'm never coming back. It's that nothing to do with these people. I'm pretty much done. I'm never coming back. And I leave and I told Janique, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you want to go back, but it's not looking so good for you. And then, like, I don't know. And then, like, I don't think our friend left for, like, ages.
No, she stayed.
Yeah.
Moved to another city. Moved to a whole nother city and started working in a different branch. Of course, it didn't last very long because it just doesn't. It takes a certain type of people to stick at it. It's a very particular skill to have, man. Like it's not even a bad. Skill.
You learn a lot, but
you learn a lot. You need to the selling the charity isn't the skill you need. You need to learn how to just take any kinds of shit that they throw your way, to work long hours, to completely never see your family again, ever.
Never. Like, I don't know how anybody had.
Literally, you get like something crazy, like 2 days off at Christmas, and then you're expected to work. I'm sure on New Year's you're pitching.
I'm pretty much. I don't even. We had Christmas off, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, but not that long at Christmas.
We were back so quickly. I remember.
You came back like on the 1st.
Oh, you? I remember when you came back. You no longer had the red hair. I remember we were on the same train, and it's.
I got me a weave.
we were in the same carriage, yeah. But there's this girl at the end. She keeps staring at me. I'm thinking, who is this person? She's making me feel so uncomfortable. She just keeps staring, and she keeps trying to catch my eye attention. I'm like, who is that? And then I clock. Oh shit. She has hair now. Like, she has hair now. And then that's when people...
Don't be fooled. I bought that with the Christmas money.
Where you got that
Not the money I got at the job. I made
like
nothing.
A Christmas bonus or anything like that?
No.
Nah.
Christmas bonus. We got a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And there was one girl in particular that drank the whole tab.
The whole tab.
Before we even got there.
Like, we couldn't even afford drinks. Like, that's
and she drank the whole tab. Trust me, you could tell from her face.
No, man. That place... It's like when I got lost in, like, Wimbledon and I... like had to take out a phone contract. Like there's these things that you have to do just to survive. Like just to survive in the place because you had no
out
money.
A phone contract.
I had like honestly
for £100 cash back.
Like guys, you have to understand.
Just to be able to get home.
For some reason, we worked the Friday.
We will tell you that full story another time.
We'll actually tell you the full story.
We would because that needs some minutes. We have to tell you that one day.
Yeah, let's just wrap it up. We're like an hour into this.
We will wrap it up there. We hope you've enjoyed our story, the saga of the Devil's Lair.
Confessions of a door knocker.
The confessions of a field rep. The confessions of a field rep.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you enjoyed it. We will be back.
We'll be back some point.
We'll be back at some point.
We'll be back
next week. But we hope you enjoyed the first episode, the first installment of It's Above Me Now.